Good morning, New Eden! Today is October 24th, 2021, and this is the Federation Frontline Report, podcast about EVE Online with a focus on faction warfare. I'm your host, Frozen Fallout. My co-host is Samson.
Good morning, New Eden. How y'all doing?
Today we have a special guest, Harkon, from the Mimitar Faction Warfare, faction of the Mimitar faction of faction warfare. How's New Eden treating you these days, Harkon?
Can't complain, all fine. Thanks.
Awesome.
That's Thor's son you're talking to.
Thor's... wait a minute, is that... Wait.
Yeah, Harkon Thorson.
Really?
Thor's son.
Oh, Thor's son. Yeah. I like that. Anyways, so tell me, Harkon, how did you get involved in EVE Online?
A friend of mine that I was living with had a brother, and that brother always told him about that great game that he was playing, EVE Online, and it was so fantastic, and you could do all sorts of stuff. And he always was like, hey, let's try that, and it took ages, and 2013, then I was finally like, okay, I finally have a nice rig that I can actually play that stuff on without potato mode, and so he got me into the game, and we started out as just some random noobs playing the game. His brother had actually stopped playing the game at this point, so we were on our own, had no group or anything, and just stumbled into New Eden.
Interesting. So what are some of the first activities that you take part in? Did you go straight in for PvP, or were you involved in more of the mission running or mining or industry? What kind of got you to stick with EVE at the very beginning?
Well, I tried exploration and industry, and was a really big fan of the whole exploration, scanning down sites, doing data sites and all that. And we moved into low-sec pretty fast, my friend and I. He joined TLF, Tribal Liberation Force, so the Minmatar NPC militia group, and talked me into joining that as well. So we played for, I don't know, maybe it was a month or something before we actually joined faction warfare. But after 2 weeks, I was like, okay, no, that's just too hectic for me. That's not my kind of game. So I left the militia again, went back to scanning and exploration and everything, still in low sec, but not as a PvP person per se. So I wasn't trying to kill anyone. I just tried to get my exploration done and get some stuff together, build something. Was more like this. And then the Amar came and actually took the system that I usually did my scanning in, and that brought me to then join actual Prayer Corp, the Minmatar Secret Service, which I'm still part of. And then I was in faction warfare.
So, do you still use a lot of those old scanning skills today, or are you is it kind of moved over to more of a PvP focus for you these days?
No, I've not scanned properly. Even combat scanner probing, I'm really bad at. I haven't scanned in ages. I haven't done a data site in ages. I did some PvE lately after we killed someone in a PvE site to just get rid of all the points that were on us. But other than that, I would say I'm 99% PvP.
Although that's what I like to hear.
Some Amar might say different, but yeah, that's usually.
Yeah, I was gonna say earlier, and I didn't want to offend you, but I love explorers. They blow up really nicely.
I got the first time I got in my cheetah. I was really proud of my first cheetah, having skilled into it and being able to run those sites and being cloaky and all. And a hound waited in the data site and killed me, and I was slightly impressed. I was obviously sad that my nice cheetah died, but I was also very impressed by just this hunting skill and just waiting there for someone to come by. So yeah, it was fun. It can be fun. Exploration is certainly a thing that can be fun, but yeah, PvP is more entertaining. It's something that you can do in a group where you have social contact. I mean, try to do exploration sites with many people, and it's just not going to be fun anymore, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fun shooting at explorers occasionally. I fly around in my Legion and
Different
hide
reasons
data
for
sites.
going
I scan
into-
down data sites first, and then
So first of all, flying a Legion is obviously wrong.
yes, it's very wrong.
It's an
terrible
Omar
thing.
ship. There's like a few Omar ships that you can fly that don't fire lasers, because lasers are very dangerous.
Vengeance.
They,
I play a lot of I fly a Vengeance.
nah. But if you fire lasers, if you get it into the eye, you might go blind, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Too dangerous.
I
That's
am
why.
blind in this eye right now because I fly Mars ships.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I can't fire even the small laser.
Oh wow, you've banned that
You're
that
against
researchy
lasers? That's
technology
fun.
for yourself.
No, in all honesty, the only reason I have a lot of Mars skills is because that's what I started with, and I liked lasers, but honestly, missiles have been like my favorite thing. After discovering missiles, I love all kinds of missiles.
Missiles, I've become to like missiles more, but that is more an FC thing for me. I like autocannons. Autocannons and arties are the best. Just projectiles.
Oh, okay. Well, artillery, I can definitely be down with the arties because of
They just make poof.
Frozen has created the Thrasher cockbag fleet, which is just Thrashers with arties. They're just glass cannons.
Oh
They
yeah,
have enough of them.
Mimitar technology is the best, man.
Yeah, no, I really like the Thrashers, and I was really excited to fly them for the first time. And it was also incidentally my first time FCing, and everybody was in a Thrasher, and we took out an Omen in like half a second. We took out Caracol in like half a second. Their ships just disappeared. It was great.
Yeah, that's something that can be really fun. But from an FC perspective, I learned to like missiles more because it's more or less, it doesn't matter too much where people are. They don't need to be in optimal range, right? They just need to be in range in general. So
yeah,
I had some bad experience with people just flying all over the place trying to apply with their autocannons being 40k off, and so
Yep.
And then you just wait. You just wait.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. No. The. So tell us a little bit about what. So what do you do for the Mimitar? How are you involved in the Mimitar? And I believe you're part of the Ushra'Khan alliance, which is one of the old school alliances.
I have to tell you that it is actually the oldest alliance in EVE Online.
Wow.
Although CVA always tries to make a counter argument, but no, Ushra'Khan is the oldest alliance. So yeah, I'm the CEO of Ushra'Khan, of one of the longest alliances, not only in EVE but also in Minmatar Militia. We joined in 2014, I think, my corporation, when I was just a random member of my corporation, and then I kind of went up the ranks without even trying because other people left and no one else wanted to do it, so I ended up being the alliance leader. Yeah.
So you're the executor of the entire alliance at this point.
Yes, for
awesome.
like 3 or 4 years now at this point.
That is impressive to like come into the game 2013, because like when I hear like 2013 I think, oh, you're so young, and then I'm like, wait a minute, no, I'm just super fucking old.
Man. Come on.
My character's gonna turn 8 in 2 days. That's sad.
I'm going to be turning 15 for my main character. I had a character that I played for only a little while that I didn't pick back up because the way that they gave out skill points during 2006 when I joined was like they gave you like 1 million skill points, and before that they gave you like I don't know, like 50,000 or something like that. It was a really small amount, and so I started a whole new character. And so 15 years, and then I also did play in the beta, but as a teenager, I looked at this game in the beta, and I like my eyes just became really wide, and my mouth dropped, and my brain exploded, and then like time reversed so that I wouldn't continue playing the game. So yeah, that happened, but I have to say that this is it's always interesting meeting people who have like taken over a huge alliance, you know, such an important alliance, I think in EVE history, and still, you know, it's one of those things where I think like when is the time to start playing EVE is always now. You know, it's kind of like one of those things where a lot of people are like, well, you know, I don't have the skill points, you know, the game's been going on for 15 years, so I can't
EVE
really
is dying
get
anyway.
right, EVE is dying every year, so but
It's
you can
every
come into this
day.
game and
Go on
do
the
huge
forums.
things. And how long?
Yeah.
So how long had you been playing the game when you became the Executor?
Oof, I think it was only like 3 or 4 years. I mean, that's for the alliance. I was the CEO of my corporation before that, and I got the CEO of the alliance lead from Dead Restbrox, which also played the beta and actually just was inactive for a while, is now back. Has a nice project called Eve Pandora, where he has missions that are linked to in-game events, so you can basically put a reward on the head of someone, and then people can claim rewards over the side for killing that someone or for kills in a certain system. So it's very nice.
It's like a bounty.
You can basically create a mission. So you can create a bounty mission for someone, but you can also create a mission for who has the most kills in that system in that month or whatever. It's mostly
That's really
kills.
cool.
I don't know if he can track plexus done and whatnot, but it's a very nice site and you can do a lot of it. I didn't have too much time to look into it, but yeah, he played for, like I said, now 18 years or something like that. So yeah, but yeah, and what I do in Minmatar Faction Warfare, well, I try to point at least my group, Ushra'Khan, into certain directions when it comes to systems. There's obviously, as it will be in yours, Warzone, there's a few systems that have more character to it, let's put it that way. There's systems where people lived for a long time, or there were very bloody fights over certain systems. And that's why certain systems have more meanings than others. And as it is right now in Faction Warfare, unfortunately, at least for the most part, only the players in Faction Warfare give meaning to systems, for the most part, at least. And so if it doesn't really matter who controls the system, apart from do you care about that system?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I can see that. That's very
Do
true.
you guys live out of NPC stations, or are you guys living out of upwell structures or neutral upwell structures? And I know that there's you know, I know that there's been fighting in your type of space over upwells. What's it look like these days?
Well, we have been living in upward structures for quite some time, but I think it was 2019, beginning of 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Snuffed came by the second time and burned everything to the ground, and that included our last 40s and most of our Astroses and our industry. And people were just fed up with timers and just having to defend structures all over and all over. And many veterans left at this point, stopped playing or went to other areas of the game. So we didn't really have the means to defend structures anymore. So currently, we have 2 structures in HiSec, I think, and that's that. And we live out of NPC stations. It's a bit old school, but it works.
So when you're living out of NPC stations, you're living out of systems in Faction Warfare that are flippable, or are you guys do you guys have a base of operations that's not flippable?
Well, usually we do that in Faction Warfare, so in flippable systems. We, if anyone didn't notice, we lost the whole Warzone a while back, like 2 months or something, maybe 3, I don't know. So all of our systems were taken, including the ones that we had staged for ages. There's a system called Bossburger in our Warzone that was the longest held system in EVE Online, at least Faction Warfare wise. I think it was held since 2015, so like 5.5 years or some shit like that. And there was basically most of our stuff, and now it's in our hands, and it doesn't seem like they want to give it back anytime soon. So a lot of our stuff is in that system. But we've retaken other systems, and I mean, if you're a group that is in Faction Warfare for such a long time, the pro sides on living in NPC stations is that you always find stuff. You conquer a system and you're like, oh, I got a battleship here, or hey, I didn't know I had that here. So it's kind of
That's right.
the upside on that part, right? So it can be fun to
Forgot about my
recover.
praxis.
Yeah. It only gets sad when the corp hangar isn't evacuated in time, or you have Kumaks in all your ships. Which Kumaks, I don't
Yes.
know if you guys know, that's the Minmatar roleplay thing. Ushra'Khan as a whole is, I would say, a roleplay light alliance. So we try to do roleplay. Alliance males are usually in character. And Kumaks are a symbol for the fight for freedom for the Minmatar people, but they're illegal in Amar space, so they can't be contracted. So if you have a ship with a Kumak in it, you can't contract that ship because it has illegal goods in it. If you have a box and there's a Kumak in it, you can't contract the box because there's a Kumak in it. So that's sometimes an issue, but that's like we tell.
It's like a self-inflicted issue that
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's part of the, like you said, the
It's
role play. So that's
the
kind of
role
cool.
play.
So
It's the meta.
yeah, I
Yep.
forgot that you guys are a role play alliance. I'm a huge role player. I know Samson does some role playing in his life.
I don't know anything about role playing.
You don't know anything about role playing? Nothing?
I don't know anything about role playing.
There's not even in the
I'm
back.
only on a faction warfare podcast making propaganda. I know nothing about role playing.
There's no role playing. But yeah, that's kind of cool that you guys so you guys do it mostly in like alliance mails and kind of like tone of the alliance kind of thing.
There's this approach, I'd say, that Ushra'Khan roleplays with its guns. So we shoot the Amar as good as we can. As an example, I mean, we can come back to another example later. But that's like a bigger story, so I don't want to take it away now. But for example, I don't know how firm you are in the Eve lore the last years. The Empress died. The witch was
Mhm.
killed by the baddies, and
I appreciate that.
our fleet was like a minute late. We actually were on the way there with our own fleet to try to kill the Empress, which was obviously insane, and we would have all died. But we wanted to try to kill her battleship, her fucking Titan, with our small little, I think it was tornadoes or something. But things like that, right? We sometimes do that. There's oftentimes, actually more often than you would think, there is small events that are either inspired by members, not only ours but the roleplay community as a whole, where we show up. For example, there was an uprising of slaves on a planet in the Khanate systems, and we went there and tried to protect the freighter that wanted to bring relief to those slaves. And then we fought in that system against Amar sympathizers that tried to stop that freighter. So there's a lot of smaller things, and I'd say we have a pretty good community in Minmatar as a whole, not only Minmatar Militia, but Minmatar as a faction as a whole. There's Electus Matari, also a roleplay group that joins in faction warfare every now and then, but is more focused on other things. They have a very nice group of role players as well, or a roleplay group, I guess. We have moods where we like meet all the Minmatar characters, meet there in a certain station, and then in character we talk about things, conflicts, what's the way forward and whatnot. So that can be a lot of fun, but it's not mandatory. And it's just an additional layer to our alliance, as far as I see it, right? So you can always just join and shoot the Amar and have fun.
That's awesome. That does sound like that's really cool. And is it pretty much contained to like the Minmatar just role playing? Because I know that CVA does a bunch of role playing. I don't know how much you guys interact with each other. Are you guys like posting on forums to interact with each other at all, or is this mostly contained in voice chat, hanging out with each other, kind of just people inside the Minmatar?
There is some interaction, not necessarily with CVA, although Kyle Salz, one of the CVA, or I don't know if he's still in CVA, but he was at the time that we interacted. There was some interactions there. There is a forum, an in-character forum, that is used usually for interactions. The only problem with that is that it is kind of a snake pit. There's certain characters there that will always chime in, no matter if it actually is any topic that interests them. They will just chime in to discuss, and I don't know. There's the EVE or non forums are a bit. There's a Discord though. Roleplay's primary RIP. That can be very fun. You can find other people there to roleplay with, and usually it's very constructive because roleplay, at least in that regard, isn't about winning. It's not about, hey, we're gonna roleplay that I gonna kill you, right? But it's more like, hey, I have this idea. What do you think? Would you be game? Like, I wanna have my group make a terror attack against your holding, dear slaver, right? Then the slaver says, okay, that's cool. Let's spin it this way, that we catch one of the people that did it and whatnot. So that's the way that it should be going, I guess. But yeah,
Interesting. Now you said that roleplay is primary, is a Discord channel.
that is a Discord. I can share the link later if you want to.
Yep,
I'm
and
not
I'll
the
put that
owner
in
or
the show
anything. I
notes.
just not the
Give
owner
a
or
shout out.
anything. I might get in trouble if too many people join, but no, all fine. There's certain rules
Radio
there.
edit.
Would be nice if people would follow those. But yeah, so for me, and I guess for at least bigger parts of the Alliance, roleplay is an additional layer of fun to the game, and it's something that motivates us. I mean, I'm in Faction Warfare now for 7 years or something, and the changes that were made to Faction Warfare in that time have been like not a lot. Let's put it that way. So I'm doing the same thing for like 7 years with different people, partly against different people, partly, but that gets boring very fast, or can at least, if you don't find your purpose for yourself, basically. So if you're not like, okay, this is our home, our system, or this is the story arc that we want to take on this thing that happened. So that helps a lot to motivate people, at least me and I guess some of the group that I'm in. And yeah, we try to keep that somewhat alive. Although I have to say that every now and then it gets a bit drowned in just the day-to-day grind that Faction Warfare can be.
So what would be some of the like suggestions that you would have for aspiring CEOs and aspiring fleet commanders? Let's kind of break that up, I guess, starting with like just what kind of advice would you have for aspiring CEOs and executors of EVE Online, especially focused on the faction warfare aspect?
Oh, I'm not sure if I'm the right person to give advice in that regard. I mean, there's certainly some people that aren't very happy with how I do the whole CEO thingy.
Hey, haters gonna hate.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously everyone has their own style, and I can't really give advice. I don't feel like I should give advice. Let's put it that way. And I just stumbled into it. I wasn't aiming for it. So maybe my suggestion would be, don't try too hard to be the boss of anyone. Just try to do things and create content for other people, and then they will come back and they'll join, and then you can have fun together. So that's basically how it went with me, at least. Like I said, more or less, I just stumbled into all those positions. I never wanted to be an FC to go further to that point, right? It was just that there was like 5 of us, and we were shooting all over the place. So I told people to shoot this one first, and it somewhat worked. And then from there, slowly but surely, I mean, the first years were really, really bad. And I won't claim that I'm a good FC or anything, but at least so the basics I got after like 6 years. I know how to fleet warp now most of the time. Sometimes I warp alone into the enemy, and then I be like, okay, guys, I'm gonna hold them for you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna chill here for a minute while you guys come on. Warp to
Cowards.
me. 0, please.
Warp yourself. Come on, you can do it. So yeah, I mean, I think the biggest advice is get together with other people, get stuff do stuff that other people do as well, and that you have fun doing, so that you have fun together, and that usually just creates the environment where corporations are made or grow
Yeah.
or alliances are made. So just try to have fun, and if you find something that's fun, try to show it to others, so maybe they have fun as well, and if they have fun as well, then they might join your corporation or alliance or faction warfare side or whatever. And faction warfare and that's one of the reasons, I guess, why I also sticked around, is a very good way of having casual fun. Like, you don't need to grind too much, you don't need to do like timers or whatnot. You can just log on, undock, pew pew, dock, or I guess clone back to wherever you came from, and then log off.
Yeah, and
We got a
so
first-time chatter here, really quick, saying, well, Paul Walden basically saying, so don't fly solo. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, just real quick, you should definitely fly solo, but you should also
be part of a community and be part of
the community.
I think that
Solo is
learning
fun.
how to do a
Solo
little
can
bit
be
of solo in this game, especially in faction warfare,
It will help.
It helps you understand quite a bit, and you can make some soloists now. And a lot of people, will go out and just do some stuff, but oh yeah,
apparently
Harkon's
that's Harkon's neighbor. He's just you're just messing with us,
But yeah, no, solo is I was about to ask, how much solo do you do,
What?
Harkon, or is it mostly you're out there leading fleets all the time, or do you find a time period for going out and just doing some solo or not necessarily even PvP, but just solo activities that you do in EVE?
Well, the one solo activity that I do is get my alt to Jita and bring in new ships. But other than that, no. There've been periods, and I'm pretty sure there's gonna be periods again where I try a solo. I'm not a good solo pilot, I'd say. I'm just not used to it, I guess. And I'm not.
Me too.
I like the every now and then I like the thrill. Like, you get the heart pumping and
adrenaline.
everything. That can be fun. But that's nothing that I enjoy all the time, and that's
right.
like an understatement. I mean, look at my keyboard; it's like 99% group kills. So I try it every now and then, and I can beat one or two of the people that are AFK when I slide in on them. But other than that,
hey, that's what it's about, man. Opportunity.
no. And I mean, again, just to make clear, people should try solo. If it's their thing, then it can be their thing. But even then, they should be part of a bigger group so that they can share their experience, share the fun with others.
Yeah, well, to that point, like I've gotten to kill a lot of people in game, but I rarely make my own fits, and a lot of people make ships for me, and like I get like a lot of there's so much that goes into is like, yeah, Gwen is solo a lot, but no, like people like, especially my favorite ship, one of my favorite ships, the Vengeance. It was the fitting is an amalgamation of one of my other friends, and then me, and then Frozen. Like, and now it's just the thing, like it's the thing that I use.
It's an Amar ship.
For killing the destroyers. It is an Amar ship. It is an Amar ship. But I do want to say, I do want to point out though, because I'm sensing a little hatred towards the Amar. I don't know, because you're like maybe on the opposite side or something. I don't know how faction warfare works. I don't know why I'm on this podcast, but Gwen will shoot anything and everybody. She does not give a shit whether you're Amar or what. Well, okay, she's in faction warfare now, so I guess she's not supposed to shoot Galente anymore.
Or Mimitar. So.
Yeah, or Mimnitar, which
we're used to it.
I do kill your bots. I do kill your bots when they come into my system.
I mean, we usually try to kill them as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Bots are evil.
Like when a bot comes in, I'm just oh yeah, it's a coercer bot. Just blow it up.
Yeah.
So going back though to some of the stuff that you love in EVE Online, do you have any memories of a time period where you just were like, this is why I play this game, and this is like the days that everybody's got that. Back in the day, there was this crazy event. I spent 24 hours just murdering people. Do you have any time periods like that?
There have been multiple times when I just spend days, I mean, obviously with breaks, but days in certain systems fighting over them. There's a few very nice sieges that went on, but there's like 3 things I'd say that really stood out. The first one was when we actually took the whole war zone the first time. It was obviously following an exodus of Amar groups that left the area. Same with the Amar when they took it. It was a group of Minmatar groups that left the area, and then the war zone flipped. But that was like people being online for like 3 days in a row and just trying to get those last systems to flip, and then we got that stupid medal, and everyone was so happy. And that was really nice. There was also
And you only shit yourself once.
no, I actually wasn't online that long. I
Mom,
still
bathroom.
nah, I'm the one getting called by the kids, unfortunately. So, no, so that was one. The second one was something that we did for our alliance. I don't know if you know that all the stations in Lowsec and Nullsec were replaced with structures, with player-owned structures. So back in the day, groups built the stations in Nullsec, and Ushra'Khan built one specific one, Unity Station 9UI. And and when they were replaced with those upwell structures, there was a monument built to the group that held it when it was replaced. And obviously,
that kind of stuff is crazy. I like
Ushra'Khan,
that.
Ushra'Khan wasn't in Nullsec for ages. Even when I joined, they had left Null, and Ushra'Khan was never Nullsec Alliance for me. But Unity Station was a thing, and it was in the hands of CVA when that whole thing came closer to being. So that switch and then the monument. And we went into Null. Brave was there, had taken the station, and it was. We did all work we could on the fighting side, but we were obviously not going to be able to do it. But our diplomats actually managed to strike a deal, and so we got that station for a few days and had to hand it back then. But the monument in Nullsec is now Ushra'Khan as the builder and owner when it was changed. So that was a campaign that lasted for like a month or two, I'd guess, and brought us that monument that at least technically will be there forever.
That's awesome.
That was pretty cool, especially as it was the last chance to flip the station before that change happened, and I was at work and was logging into comms every now and then to ask how this was going, and this group was trying to hold them back, and CVA tried to show up and murder the people. And when it finally was through, everyone was again so happy. It was really, really nice. Yeah, so that was the first two, and the last one was just last year, or beginning of end of 2019. We talked about it a bit earlier, but for those that don't know the story, there was a big fight over the system of Flossus Win in the Minmatar and Amar Warzone. That whole thing started with something completely different. The old bitter vats of Amar Mill and Min Mill were kind of unhappy with the farmers and them dictating the tides of the faction warfare systems. So we struck a deal with a bunch of Amar, and we, as in Ushra'Khan mostly. So we said we're gonna capture all Amar mission hubs, and the Amar are gonna capture all Minmatar mission hubs, and then we're gonna hold them. And the other side is not gonna try to retake them, so that no people can run missions in our war zone.
I remember this. Yep.
So that was our plan, and we kind of wanted just to get some attention to that thing that was such a bad application of game mechanics for us, right? And in the wake of that, someone leaked that we had a little like Photoshop thingy where there was this contract made with the signatures of the different groups. So, and someone leaked that on the in-character forum and pointed out, here, look, Amar militia are betraying the Empire and what's happening.
Amar Victor.
And then an Amar NPC actually chimed into the discussion in the forums.
Oh.
And that NPC basically said, that those traitors shall be punished, and said that 2 systems would be important from now on. One was Starkman. It's in system and in game it's called RZ, but it's actually Starkman. And the second was Flossus Win. And Flossus Win is a Minmatar mission hub, so it was in the hands of the Yamar. And he said that they're going to reclaim the population on the planets that are there. So they're going to invade it, and they're going to take those people as slaves. So we were in kind of a pickle because we had signed that agreement that we wouldn't take the system, and now, law-wise, they would be starting to take people out of our planet, and
So not a hard push on you to be like, okay, these people are banned, or these people are in trouble in any way, or getting booted from faction warfare, but they were like, okay, well, we know you guys roleplay, so here's some roleplay reasons for why you guys are going to want to go out there and do something. Like, and that's really cool. I'm impressed a lot.
Yeah, because we've been talking about how faction warfare needs more help. It needs more stuff like that.
Yeah, and there was a catalysator, whatever. Whatever that stupid catalyst. Thank you. Stupid language.
Yeah,
so,
it's terrible.
It is a stupid language. I speak gibberish as my first language, and English is, it's a weird, stupid language.
It is. Well, so that was a catalyst for a lot of things that happened. They actually brought in diamond rats into the system that did stuff. So we first set up a structure to try to defend the planet without taking the system, and then diamond rats came and reinforced our structure.
Oh wow!
And not just like 10 or so, but more like hundreds of battleships that actually reinforced our structure. So we got to play with those diamond rats a bit. That was fun. The good thing is you don't get an aggression timer, so we sat on the structure, shot the NPCs, and every time we got into low armor, we just docked, repaired, undocked again, and went back to shooting.
An oversight, perhaps.
It was something to be learned, I guess. And then pirates showed up and blew our structure up anyway.
Yeah.
But
as it happens.
Yeah, that was December 2019, and then we finally were like, okay, fuck it, we're gonna take the system. Most of the Yamar people that signed our agreement had stopped playing anyway. The first systems had fallen, so we were, okay, we're gonna take the system. It was a good moment because the tide was just turning into Minmatar again with the farmers and everything. So we took the system mid of December, I think. And fighting happened all over December, and came January, they retook it again, and basically the law section was that the Yamar started an invasion on the planet, Flossus Win 4, the only inhabited planet there, or the only temperate planet, I guess, and started to progress their invasion, and every time we retook it and held it for a while, the defenders got reinforcements and could bolster their defenses and maybe even throw out the Yamar, and that system changed hands, I think it was like 6 times in the span of half a year, from December to June 2020. And that was the most intense time in EVE I have seen so far. There were like 1 or 2 months where it wasn't as bad, but the rest of the time it was pure carnage. It was like fighting non-stop. A lot of people burned out through that.
That happens.
It was, I mean, I know you guys call it Fleet Nam, and it was somewhat impressive. I agree, but it was
Fleet Nam.
But it was
Fleet Nam.
It was
it's nothing in comparison to
Oh, that's fighting words for Joe, man.
I've seen both. I've been in both systems, and no, sorry. You haven't seen nothing.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it's in the Galente's hands again. So if the Keldari can come back and punch back and take it back real quick here, which it doesn't look like that's going to be happening. But this is calling out the Keldari. Come on, let's see you jump at.
I'll just undock my
again.
Rattlesnake, and we can have fun with that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that'll.
Someone will come try to kill me.
Somebody will come. Come on out, let's play some games. That's awesome, though.
There was the NPCs, or CCP in this case, just putting those those news out. Every time news came out for the world, I don't know if you follow them, but we were looking
Yes.
like, oh shit, is something in about Flossus Win? What's happening?
Yes.
And then that's such a motivator to just try again. It was for both sides, and to be fair, the Amar militia wasn't in a good state at the end of 2019. A lot of groups had left. Like I said, the bitter vets that signed the agreement stopped playing, and they rebuilt from scratch more or less. A few veterans returned, but mostly new people joined. Other groups returned after a long absence, and came June 2020, we just couldn't hold them back anymore. And after the months that, at least for me, had the most kills I've ever done in even 1 month, we finally lost not only the system but also our structure there that had held for like half a year, the Oath of Vengeance citadel that we fought over in the end. And it was an epic fight, and it was a lot of fun. Everyone had a lot of fun. The only problem was that it can get a bit, well, addictive is not the right word, but you can take it too serious.
Kind of is.
You can take it too serious, and if you find yourself looking at Dotlan or some kind of bot that gives you the percentage of certain systems every time you have like 2 minutes at work or with the kids or whatnot, then
Yeah, I get obsessed with kill boards too. It's ridiculous.
I don't kill boards, but like if there's a siege going on, for example, like those ones in Flossus Win, then I sometimes find myself getting too much involved. And again, so many people burned out there, but that was what faction warfare should be most of the time. That's why I guess one of the questions would be then what to change in faction warfare.
Right, yeah. So I was about to just ask that.
So
yeah, what's some of the stuff that you're interested in changing up in faction warfare?
So they should give more meaning to certain systems, be it due to lore, to NPCs pointing at certain systems, giving it a meaning, or, which has been brought up multiple times, I guess, a frontline system that just makes systems more important because they are choke points that are really choke points.
I'm sorry, did you just say frontline?
Frontline systems, yeah.
Because this is the Federation frontline report. We're on the front line right here. This is it.
Yeah. But the problem is you can open new front lines everywhere in your war zone. You just go to a different system, you plex it, you get it, and then there's a new front line.
Yeah, that's true.
When it would give,
needs focus.
I mean, one of the really cool things about faction warfare is the landscape it gives, right? It gives plexes. Different plexes, different sizes. You can't warp in a plex. You can't warp outside of the plex, back and forth. So it gives a landscape that shapes the way people. Yeah, but also that shapes the way people fight. Tactics are involved, and you wouldn't find the same fleets in low sec than you find in null sec, because it's a great difference in environment. And if you give an environment, again, a landscape to the faction warfare zone, in giving it a front line, certain systems will always be extremely important because they are just choke points, and there's only that one system that you need to hold back a whole area. You protect like 10 systems if you hold that one system, and that we don't have that right now. Yeah, and that's kind of sad. And it would.
Yeah, it is. As a strategist, I play a lot of strategy games, in board games or whatever. Like that's something that would be really cool to have, because then you would have more strategy, not just we'll go pound a few systems here or whatever, but like having that, like, okay, we have to take this system because if we get this system we can hold this entire section for I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, I like what you're talking about, like more of like you almost have to like have a connecting system that's conquered either, or outside, it's a Galente space system that's connected to it in order to like advance. You could still plex and stuff like that, but in order to like flip it, you would have to like move those front lines forward.
There's multiple. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So there's multiple ways you could implement that, right? And there's always the arguments like, what if one side is so dominant? How are you gonna take any systems if they are just defending that one or two systems and you are just outnumbered 10-1? You can't take more systems because they just hold that choke point. But there's a lot of ways around that. You can make it so that every system that is bordering to a non-faction warfare system can be a frontline system or
Mhm.
whatnot. I mean, it shouldn't be
Wormholes.
our wormholes. Yeah, I guess, but then
Well, yeah,
That's-
I'm in a back door.
but really for the
But-
capturing purposes,
Yeah,
that wouldn't be a
it's
permanent
there's a
thing.
lot of
Well,
things.
not in the wormhole, but like getting into the system.
Well, we're talking about like the control mechanism. So
Oh,
like,
yeah,
not
yeah, you're right. No,
necessarily
you're the control.
on a
My bad.
day-to-day basis on like a
Yeah,
control
yeah.
capture thing. You would have to have
Stopping-
something connected.
Yeah, stopping the traffic really isn't a good thing. That's not what should be happening, because that is the life of faction warfare. You roam around, pirates roam around, you meet each other, explosions happen, people are happy or sad. But yeah, that would be one option to do something about faction warfare that would give it more meaning. I guess there's also some suggestions that you take what was happening with the Poshvin thing, with the Dragavian invasion, where NPC fleets were fighting each other, and you could influence it by fighting with or against certain NPC groups. Not too sure if that would be the right way, but frontline systems alone would give it so much more meaning to take certain systems and hold certain
Mhm.
systems that I think it would do a lot for faction warfare. In general, it just needs a general update and just some new fresh ideas, because there's a lot of people that would play if faction warfare would get an update. I'm pretty sure there's like in every faction warfare group that has been in faction warfare for more than a year, there's a bunch of people that stop playing. They don't play in null or they don't play in high sec. They just stop playing because they enjoyed faction warfare, but it's always the same and
Yeah.
it never evolves. And at least we have the problem that we get new recruits like every year when the swing comes. Even in the meantime, there's new recruits, but the veterans usually don't stay for too long. I mean, we had some, but that whole snuff thing happened and then people got frustrated there. But it's hard to maintain a level of veterancy without going into the whole structure thing again. Fighting structures and over structures.
Your buddy, your neighbor, Paul Walden, says high sec faction warfare mechanics repel new players from joining, by the way.
That's
Can you speak to that?
I guess that can be true, and there's like people. What he means is that if you're in a faction warfare militia, then you will be attacked by.
He says I wouldn't go as far as to say buddy, so my bad.
Yeah, same here. So if you're in a faction warfare militia, you get attacked by the NPC navy in the opposing two areas of space. So me being Minmatar, I get attacked in Amar High Sec and in Kaldari High Sec. So I can't fly to Jita because then the police will always try to kill me. Not the police, but the navy. That's like not as bad.
Well, I know that feeling. All the police try to kill me. Every system I go to.
Because you are a pirate. There's a song about
Oh, is that what it is?
What? No.
Being
But-
pirate is bad.
No,
But it's kinda
or faction warfare.
I mean, I think that's one of the big things, though, is that becoming a like kind of a half pirate by joining a faction warfare where you can get attacked by faction warfare targets and you get attacked by the NPCs if you try to go to Jita is a huge deterrent to a lot of people that would want to join Galentir or Minmatar. But
Yeah, I could see that.
on the flip side, I mean, it just is anywhere altogether, going anywhere and having to deal with the police when you are not a pirate is overly burdensome, I think, to players. And I think it should be, I personally believe that should just be wiped out. Leave it to the standing mechanics that they already have. You lose standing for shooting NPCs and you can repair that standing. And you just have to realize that war targets are war targets anywhere
I don't
that
give a
you
shit
go.
about reputation.
And therefore you shouldn't have,
Faction.
you shouldn't feel safe per se in space, but you shouldn't be getting attacked by NPCs for no apparent
If you
reason.
feel safe in space in Eve, something's wrong. You're never safe.
But the thing is, it can be a deterrent, sure, and it can be annoying, also sure. But I think that's something that the faction warfare groups need to they need to cover that. As in, if a new player doesn't know how to get his stuff from the trade hub to the front line, then the groups need to help them. But
we
at the same
usually
time,
have other corps that can do that.
Definitely, jump freighterals and whatnot. That shouldn't be an issue. But the problem is getting the players that join faction warfare into the TLF into player groups that can actually provide that. That step might be sometimes too long or too steep, I guess. So players might be experienced in the negative sides of being in faction warfare by getting killed in Jita or wherever, or high-sec campers that camp the stations in Hack and
which
whatever.
I've done
right?
too. It's fun.
Yep, it's yeah, sure.
Terrible thing.
So that can be bad experiences, but that once you've stepped over that gap by joining a group or at least figuring out how to do it, getting help, right? Then that shouldn't be too big of an issue. And I guess they could try to do some kind of mechanic where they don't make it as bad, or they go via standing. Although I have to say, as someone that has very bad standings with most groups, it's maybe not the best idea. I mean, it's kind of fitting that my character has -4 standing with the Republic, Minmatar Republic, that is, because he's kind of the leader of a terrorist organization, freedom fighting organization. Sorry, I always mix those up. But that's just a result of.
I appreciate you.
I'm sitting in a plex, and a neutral comes in, and now I have the choice: do I let him get off the beacon, or do I tackle him at the beacon and let him shoot first? So I usually shoot first, and then standing drop happens. That was fixed
somewhat. Shot first.
Always. But that was somewhat fixed by getting people to get flashy when they enter plexes.
I loved that update. I thought that was a good one.
That was one of the. That was, by the way, something
that was pretty cool.
That I actually asked at G Fleet when they were here, and they said there are no plans to do that. And like 2 months later, they just
they're like, "Oh shit, this is a good idea. We should actually."
No, that was suggested like 100 times before I asked, but yeah.
No, but yours was the most important ask. You see.
Maybe I was the most drunk person that asked it. I don't know.
Exactly. Prost.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways you can improve that. New player experience is definitely one of the things that you could improve. Also, adjusting the novice plex, or creating a novice plex, if you want to put it that way, where faction and or pirate frigates don't have access, would also be a good step to protect newer players and have them have fights with somewhat.
Like a newbie area kind of thing.
Not like what the novice maybe should have been, like a plex where T1 frigates can enter.
Just T1.
Yeah. Maybe faction if you want to go that way, but right now, at least when you go small gang and solo, the Rifter is just not cutting it against all the succubuses, worms, Dramules, slicers, and whatnot. And I mean, the worm is the worst example of it. It's like the king of the novice. There's literally nothing you can do when there's definitely things you can do. I know. If I was a better pilot and blah blah blah, but just pure statistics. The worm is just way out
Pacifiers. No, wait, that's not novice. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, I agree with you. There's it would be really nice to kick at the very least the pirate ships out of like the beginner
the pirate faction ships,
you know, I would say like a beginner plex where it's just like one that spawns in every system that's just, and I think that I like the idea of just T1 frigates. Let there be a spot in this game for T1 frigates. And then, sure, you want to pimp out your 40, put 400 million ISK into, or 4 billion ISK into your, your thing, and then have the 10 billion ISK pod that you're going to have. But still, you're just a T1 frigate. There's stuff that can overcome a lot of that stuff, even just skill level wise, that the hull itself, like smashing, the making it completely impossible to win is a little rough.
Fly Bling or go home. #LowSec.
Flying Bling is awesome.
At at this point, I kind of agree that you need to fly mostly, at least, something somewhat blingy. You can't just go with it normally. That is, you can't just go with like a Trasher in a small gang fight, because most of the other people are not gonna be in T1 destroyers. They're gonna be in faction stuff. They're gonna be in T2 stuff, and then if it goes to fleet fights with bigger fleets, that's a different kind of story. Like you said, Trashers, if there's 20 Trashers on grid and that's a small plex, you sit inside, whatever comes in, it's dead.
It's gone.
The first thing that comes in is just vaporized, and the second most likely as well. And then they might get a few Trashers, but
It's about winning
Yeah.
the ISK war at that site. But yeah, if you're the only thing that you can, I don't know. I do fly a lot of not blingy stuff, to be honest. I mean, my blingy
Yeah,
ship is the
but
Daredevil,
that's why I
where
like
I go
assault
around.
frigates.
Yeah, Assault
I like
Frigate is a
assault
nice
Because
one.
they're the cheaper bling, and yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't need to be T2. It can be a faction thing, right?
Yep.
And T1 stuff also has, at least in faction warfare, has its place. I mean, look at the novice, right? I mean, at least us and the Yamaha are usually duking it out in T1 frigates in the novice as soon as the fleets reach a certain point. Because everything that's blingy is just gonna die so horribly that it get expensive pretty fast.
Yeah, if you're doing fleet fighting, then cheapness goes. But I mean, even when I'm doing solo, I'll do an Atron. I'll go out and fly in an Atron. I'll keep an eye on my D scan. I'll sit inside of a novice plex, and if a worm shows up, I leave. If like a Daredevil shows up, I leave. If a Tristan shows up, an Atron, a Kestrel, almost any T1, maybe the Punisher I might not take just because it's so baity. But even then,
no, the Punisher's totally fine.
But
why did this Punisher take 30,000 damage?
But
because it has 30,000 HP.
But even
Punisher's...
in those cases, a lot of the times, if they're trying to bait me, it depends. Like even with it's hard to hold me down in an Atron if you're going to be a baity tanky ship. So I'm just going to, like, when I see all your buddies on scan, I'm going to leave.
But who is going to bait an Atron? I mean, seriously. I mean, I know people
they
are
do.
Okay.
They do.
It's
but it's rare, actually. I stream a lot. I do a lot of streaming where I expect, people are just going to try and bait me out and murder my butt. But I feel like streaming actually is something that gets me a lot of my fights because they see, oh, he's in an Atron. I'm going to go out in an Atron or a Tristan or a Kestrel or whatever and go and engage him because he's not engaging anybody that is going to just beat the living shit out of him.
Possibly, yeah.
Well, that's why you have a Cloaky sitting there hiding.
Yeah, that's it's harder
Cloaky
to hide that on stream though. Like I can't if I'm streaming that, I'm not going to be hiding that. But let's go ahead and we're starting to get towards the end here. One of the things that I kind of want to do a little bit of a shout out on, or just give you a little bit of time to give you some shout outs. Anybody that you want to give shout outs to, any links that you want people to check out, anything that you want to talk about with Ushra'Khan, kind of give you just a little bit of space here to kind of give you a spotlight to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Any real life projects that you're doing, whatever you want.
Well, I guess I'll shout out the Mimata Militia and Ushra'Khan and our friends in the other groups, Pew and Philor Accords that we stole from Galenti, by the way.
Philor Accords?
Yep.
Is that what you said? Oh, yeah. Yep. I've heard that a lot on this podcast.
Also, most of the Yamaha, I mean, some of them are dicks, but most of them are okay, I guess. Yeah, basically everyone that puts energy into faction warfare and tries to make it a place where people are having fun. So, yeah, that's it. My real life projects are my stuff, and yeah.
And then in game, you're Harkon Thorson, correct?
That's yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
don't mistake me for Harkon Thorson. That's an alt that the Yamaha made to
like that.
Harkon Thorson.
That's
what I said about earlier. Like, haters gonna hate, man.
No,
That's the biggest form of flattery. Is
when I
hate.
saw that, I seriously
I
I
know.
had to laugh a lot because that was a good one. They try a lot, and every now and then
Yeah.
they get a good one.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yep.
Awesome. So let's go over real quick here, just a couple news items. There's been a lot of systems that have been flipping recently. In the last 7 days, starting with October 17th, the Mimitar have flipped both Agmar and Orflord. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Orflord. And the Galente have finally got Old Man Star back in our hands. Old Man Star.
Yeah.
Very special
Old Man
system.
bitches.
Got a cool fucking gate made out of an asteroid. Huge lore shit behind that. So very happy about that. We also have taken on the 18th. We got Corvin and Essiers. And so the Keldari have lost both of those systems. The Amar have also taken Ladipi?
No. They've lost it.
The Amar lost to
Fair.
the Amar.
Thank you for the correction.
Ladipi.
I mean,
We don't do research on this show.
Labapi. They lost. I don't know how the systems in your Warzone are pronounced as well, so I don't.
They're I'm also like
I
I
have
said,
no
I speak
idea.
gibberish.
I'll say it several different ways. I mean, Old Man Star is easy, but like when he gets to all the crazy names.
So Guldamore God. I don't know.
Gulmore God, it's Gulm usually just.
Gulm.
Yeah.
So Gulm has fallen to the Mimitar, so the Amar lost that. The Keldari lost both Hadales and Obamaya to the Galente, and Zirer
Screw them squids.
was taken by the Mimitar. So there is basically, for the last 7 days, the Galente and Mimitar have been sweeping the war zone. We both sides, I believe.
Best
I know
believe it.
the Galente recently had lost every single system, and then we took back Fliet, and then it's just been a flood of systems that have come back to us. I know that the Amar farther back lost, I believe. Did you lose every single system just recently, or?
Did you just call us Amar?
Ah, god damn it! I'm not.
Okay, you're fired. Okay, this podcast is over.
Is there someone else I can talk to?
Can I speak to your manager?
So I believe that the Mimitar have lost.
We the Mimitar have lost the whole war zone. Yeah, we got our butts kicked by the Amar. Like 3 months ago. They took the last systems that we held, and we clawed our way back. Although you have to admit that the Amar aren't really trying to hold the whole war zone. That's not a thing that you can really do.
Mm-hmm.
And the swing is here, so that means farmers are going to farm and systems are going to go up by themselves. Most of the systems that have fallen so far were at least for a good portion plexed by actual Mimitar militia pilots and not just by bots. But the Amar are only protecting a few key systems at this point, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see another 20 systems flip before we see any of the important systems then finally being taken. I hope at least that we take them, but we'll see.
Awesome. So yeah, so it sounds like some good fights to be ahead. We as the pendulum swings back, and we'll see, how hard the Amar and the Keldari can try and push to stop that pendulum from swinging all the way. But I know the Galente are going to be pushing, the Amar are going to be pushing to conquer everything. Do we have time to do?
He did it again.
The Mimitar.
How is he still here?
I don't know how the fuck I'm doing.
I don't know. I don't know.
Fail. Do we have time to take a look at some systems real quick, or?
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Oh, let's do that. What do we got here? Notoros. Yeah. I guess we still have a soft spot for Notoros and Notoros news, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing this. The last 7 days, we have had 31 characters involved in PvP in Taurus, 21 corporations, 9 alliances, 38 ships destroyed or involved, total kills 26. At the top, we have Amy's son, but there's not a whole lot of competition going on in the Taurus right now. It's like 4 kills here, 3 kills there. But I just wanted to highlight this worm kill here because we were talking about worms, and I like the fact that we got Mika's worm dead in our system here.
Little 190 millionist worm. Click on that. What do we got first?
109 mil.
100 mil. What am I? See,
Doji.
I don't know.
It was Doji, our buddy in the Niswa cartel, took her out. Good on you. What? Good on you.
Damn, that's a badass kill for him. That's
yeah. So he was in a Dramiel. So Dram against a worm, which is autocannon. So you're cool with that though.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, Taurus is always going to be our home, even though it's maybe not our base right now of operations, or maybe it is. Come on back, Diana, Mika. Come on back, Taurus. We love having you there. I love throwing Joe Bane jokes at you.
All right, so let's move on to Tama here.
I'm gonna refresh Tama because it's just happening as we go. Oh,
needs to be aligned as top killer.
Yes.
Oh, needs to be really. Yeah, needs to be aligned. Yes.
Needs to be.
Okay. That was a really. I love that. I love that so much. So yes, real quick. Tama's huge. So there's like over 1,000 characters, 465 corporations, 166 alliances, 248 ships involved, over 2,000 kills, total 2,074. Needs to be real at the top. Garen Willow in second. Exna, Soprano. I just started. Oh, and Red of. A lot of these people have either killed or been killed by them, or both. But needs to be aligned. That's a beautiful thing because I personally am so annoyed when we fight him.
He's really good.
That's why he's really fucking good. He's really fucking good at kiting in any ship.
Yeah.
He could kite you in an orca. I don't know how, but he can.
He's an import from our war zone. He tortured us first before he tried to torture you. But he would actually try to punch into a fleet of 10 of us and try to get off the beacon with his fucking slicer.
Do it, man.
And every now and then he's gonna succeed, and then everyone's gonna be like, "How did he just get off here?" Holy shit. Nah, but also Kai, the person on 5th place, is ex-Minmil. Also very cool guy.
Yeah, I fought him too.
Yep. And the rest I actually don't know.
But I noticed this rattlesnake kill here. It's actually that's a really cheap fucking rattlesnake.
Ghost Moon, but look, he lost a Vargur, a Nightmare, and a Rattlesnake.
Oh my god,
Jesus,
he
yes.
did. Yeah, one right after another.
What on earth is happening here?
What are you doing, Ghost Moon? Click on Ghost.
Let's look at the...
Yeah.
Well, yes, yeah, we'll click on the Vargur, but... Royal Pirates. Where is this at? This was at a moon.
Interesting. So somebody fucking around, it looks like. Some fun shit.
Yeah. There was probably some like, hey, let's go fight my Vargur, and then after the Vargur got blown up, or I don't know what the order is. Maybe it was Nightmare first, and then Vargur, and then Rattlesnake, or Rattlesnake and then Vargur. I have to look at the times. Well, this is a different location. Still, Tama though. I like the
off of a planet.
The Sancha. The pirate ship faction ships.
Oh yeah,
it shoots lasers.
Yes, but I've only taken my rattlesnake out once, and it is currently docked in fucking Space Detroit. So I don't know when I'm gonna take it out again. But this
one died to a Spectre fleet from the looks of it. just
Yeah.
destroy it.
Oh, that hurts, man. What is he got here?
Wow,
These are,
that is just.
Oh.
He's got.
He's got rapid heavies.
Wow. That little. Oh no, it's not a little.
No,
Never mind. I was like.
Sorry, I should have scrolled down a bit there.
I've been seeing
just
like
keeps
5
fucking
ships,
going.
and I'm like,
This
really?
is like
That's
a
sad,
this is like
but
this is almost like a
This is-
kitchen sink destroyer gank fleet in high sec. Like there's so many.
Yeah, it's just a
Only
bunch of
Tech
alpha.
2s.
It looks like.
And
destroyers.
well, it's a rattlesnake. Newts aren't going to do anything. But yeah, a lot of DPS, and kind of a
Destroyers,
cheap
man. If you
rattlesnake.
get
I gotta
enough-
say, I gotta throw shade, but this is a cheaper rattlesnake.
Yeah, it's like
wanna know what his
31
pod
destroyers look like there was involved in that, and 31 destroyers like will make you cry. Like,
What? Let's
it's one of the things that the reason why I love like the Cockbag Alpha Thrasher fleet is that it's designed so that I'm gonna win the ISK war. You know, if I've got 10, 15 ships, they're all together maybe worth 150 million ISK, maybe a little bit more, and I can shoot 3 or 4 times and take out a ship that's worth sometimes billions of ISK. You just pick one target and go, that's the guy that needs to die today, and
that can be a very cool thing, but the question is supply and what are you fighting over, right? If it's just about getting kills, then that's cool, but if you're fighting over a system, then
it's not very effective. Correct.
It can
It
can be if the enemy needs to reship 3 systems away or even 1 system away where you can reship in system, then that's a good strategy. But as soon as you are the one that needs to go further to reship, it's no longer viable to really reship because people are going to take ages. And I don't know how it is with Galante Militia, but we have a saying, its Minmata reship time means that it takes about 5 minutes for everyone to actually get to the station where we're reshipping, although we were in the same system, and then it takes another 10 minutes for everyone to get into the right ship, and another 5 minutes to undock. That's Minmata reship time for you.
No, and you add about like plus 20 minutes onto everything that you just said, and that's a Galente reship time, which is why we don't do reship. Like at least the way that we currently have it is that it's pretty rough on us when we need to be reshipping a lot. So a lot of the times we've been moving over to more of this. We're not looking to take war zones. We're looking for good fights at this point, and then helping push war zones where we can. But like the objective of a lot of our fleets is just to go murder people at this point in time. But that's the more
objective
for Frozen
everything
Fallout,
I do in
like
game.
Samson.
That's
fleets,
a mentally pretty healthy approach, I'd say.
Yeah, it's the only way that I can play faction warfare. I can't have I like to have the idea of just I'm not worried about the war zone. I'm worried about murder, and I like murdering with a community and having like a team to root for rather than
we sing Kumbaya around the campfire while we murder people.
Yes.
But even there, if there is a backstory, something that makes you care about certain systems, that creates more murdering.
Yes.
And
the Toros was a good example of that because of Notoros News. It pushed people like me to try to get on the news, so I would just kill people in that system until I got on the news and then got famous, and then people were like, okay, now we have to kill him. Everybody trying to kill me. And that drove, for me, that was a lot of fun, like driving that kind of stuff, that meta. Which is what I want to say, before we're done here. One thing I want to point out: we've been only doing this show. Is this the 7th episode? How many episodes?
That sounds about right. I think we're at about 7.
Yeah. So we've been doing it for several weeks, and it's that's the reason, man. We want to create that meta. We already having fun in the game, and it creates itself after a certain point. Just talking about it and. Especially getting to interview people like you, which was awesome, by the way.
Yeah, this has been a really fun one. Yeah, so this is our 8th episode that we have published at this point. But yeah, so I believe we have one more system that we really want to take a look at, which is Flosswind. Flosswind. And let's take a look at that time period. Like, go to the stats. I believe that there's some crazy fights that had happened around the time period that you were talking. So this was
December 2019. It's when it started. So there's 1,789 kills, totaling about close to 110 billion. That was when it started. That was just half the months, more or less, fighting. Let's say 2/3 of the months fighting. Even over Christmas and New Year, there were people fighting there. And then it kind of calmed down. January, February, and March, April were really hot. Like
Hardcore.
The system changed hands. I think they took it on the 1st of March, and we took it back a week later, 7th of March. And then they took it on the 1st of April, and we took it back like 2 weeks later or something. It was back and forth, fighting really nonstop. Even after systems fell, there were new attacks on the system right away. And the June, the whole thing culminated with like 3,600 kills, close to 3,700. That was when our structure died, and there was a bunch of, we threw capitals at each other over the structure, and tons of stuff died. Let's see. I think you need to go further back even. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, fine. There must be a structure fight where one of the citadels went down. You might actually go to citadels and check the citadel kills, and if you see the one, how many citadels died here.
Yeah,
only
in the summary there can be
if you click at citadels, it will only list the citadels that died.
Yeah, there's only 14. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
That would be, was it June 26th? I think. No.
27.
A little bit higher.
27. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So click on that one and then see what the battle report is.
No, 2000. That was the wrong one. The one that's the 22nd of June. 22nd of June. Yeah, that one. The one that's Ushra'Khan, Astros.
Just at the very top, right there.
Yep, this one. And then if you go to related here, it should show clusterfuck.
4 years later, the battle report will generate. Whoa! Pretty.
That's a lot of green.
Oh, pretty damn close efficiency. 59 billion to 33 billion lost. It looks like.
What?
So Ushra'Khan
60...
lost. Well, 60 billion to 33 billion, basically. Or 30.
Yeah, well, the efficiency is 36% versus 64%.
Yeah, we got pummeled there, but it was.
That's still like you still incurred 33 billion ISK, which
it was fun. It was definitely fun.
It looks like it was a lot.
It's not a complete curb stomping. I mean, a lot of the times you can pull up battle reports and it's like 80%.
If you scroll down, efficiency. I'm somewhat sure that we were at least slightly outnumbered when it came to capitals. But all in all, not too much. But it was a lot of fun. I was seeing the subcap fleet there, and I got headshotted at pretty early in the fight, but they had just introduced the escape base for frigates, so I
you could keep FCing
the fleet from my frigate.
Nice.
And
I like those things.
That was fun, a lot of fun. Yeah, but yeah, we obviously lost a shit ton of stuff there, but. We gave it all we had, and everyone was kind of happy afterwards because it was just a lot of pew pew happening.
I'm getting carpal tunnel here scrolling.
Yeah, that's a lot of ships.
CVA was there as well because why not?
Yeah. All right, well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it on up here. Thank you, Harkon, so much for coming on today. And you are from the Mimitar, not the Amar, because I don't know how to... I should never host anything. But you know what? This is what you're going to get when Frozen Fallout's on the mic. So thank you all so much for watching and listening. If you're interested in joining up with the war effort, definitely put into an application into any of the corporations in Ushra'Khan. You can join up with Golden Age Stories over at the Galente side, and we're open to alts, spies, whatever. We're just trying to have some fun here. You know, if you come out and murder with us, we're totally excited. I'm a spy too, so
we prefer the terms.
No, I said I'm not a spy.
That makes you different than everyone else. We prefer the term special agent, by the way.
Special agent, that's a good one.
No, that's just one of my titles. It says not a spy.
Oh.
And if you're interested in giving us some news, you can always hit me up in game, Frozen Space Fallout, and or you can also hit us up at the Federation Frontline Report at gmail.com. And you can send us some news, and we'll put it into the show. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great night.
Fly
Thanks.
fucking dangerously.
Fly free.
Fly free. I like that.
And thank you again for being on, dude. It was awesome.
And thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun.